You could accept the fact that this city is headed for a disaster of biblical proportion.
What do you mean, biblical?
What he means is Old Testament, Mr.
Yes.
Mayor. Real wrath of God type stuff.
Exactly.
Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies. Rivers and seas boiling.
40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes.
The dead rising from the grave.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
It's not the X's and the O's, it's the Jimmys and the Joes.
It was a legitimate call. It made sense. It was pass interference. I don't care what anybody says. That was pass interference, offensive pass interference.
Yeah. Get ready for 2 hours of hard-hitting football talk from two men in the know. It's Football on the Know with Jim and Joe.
And you can win under pressure when it's there. You call runs when you're not supposed to. And Dak Prescott is throwing it in the dirt.
You know, I'm convinced that Jameis Winston is going to have an ESPN special 30 for 30.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome once again to another episode of Football on the Know. I am Jim McPhee, and alongside of me is Mr. Joe DeCapita.
What's going on, Know-It-Alls? Welcome back for another edition of Football on the Know Show. We are ready to go to talk some football.
Woo.
There's a lot of things happening in the NFL right now, and some of them are interesting, very interesting, like players opting out of playing for this upcoming season. There's still speculation out there. Is the NFL going to have a season? Are they not going to have a season? Are they going to have a half a season? A lot of scenarios being thrown out there. And, you know, it's interesting because of some of the names that have already decided. It's really early, so we took a few of those names, and we'll talk about them in the near future. But on a bigger note, we had a trade, everybody. We have a trade. It is Jamal Adams. He wanted out of New York. He had a couple years left on his deal. Still badly wanted to get out of New York City or New Jersey, for that matter. And he gets his wish. The Jets consummate a trade with the Seattle Seahawks, and it goes, and a lot of people are, either on one side of the fence or on the other. I haven't met anybody or talked to anybody that's kind of like in the middle, like, it's good for both teams. But nonetheless, Seattle gets Jamal Adams and a fourth rounder. The Jets obtain a 2021 first rounder and a third rounder and a 2022 first rounder, along with obtaining a safety to help soften the blow at that position with Douglas Mcdougall, or not Douglas, Bradley McDougall. So he comes in. He's not as young as I thought he was. When I went and dive in and got some more information about him, he is 30 years old. So he's on the he's almost ready to ride off in the sunset, so to speak. He's still 30. He's probably got 2 more years left in him of football, of really good football. But he is a good player, not elite, but a solid player to bring into the fold, and so they don't drop off too far in that category. So, Jim, what do you think about this whole situation? Where do you stand?
Well, I'm kind of like in the middle about it. At first, I didn't think that he was going to actually get dealt because we heard steadfast how steadfast they were about keeping him there, even though he was trash talking him here and there. But I think it wasn't until the fact that he started dogging the head coach, saying he's not a leader, he's not this and that, and we're finally like, all right, we can't have this in our locker room.
Kind of agree with him.
Yeah, exactly. Because again, you're going to have different sides of guys on the field. You also have. Their defensive coordinator there, that Greg, whatchamacallit, I can't remember his last name right now. But they are Greg Williams. The defensive players are really high on him too, and he can be a leader in that locker room too. You have Adam Gase, who's very silent, kind of intellectual, more of an offensive type of guy. Just wants to you to lead yourself by performing, and just as long as things are going fine, he doesn't say too much. He's more of a reactive type of guy. So when you have a division like that in your in-house in the locker rooms, they don't want any of that, so they go and move him. And as far as I'm concerned, I thought they did pretty good. You still get 2 first-round picks, plus a third. So that's a first and a third next year. And the year after that's first. I know a lot of people want to debate the fact that it could be potentially, basically 2 second-rounders. But I see Seattle not even going very that far, like Super Bowl. I see them always going around in the playoffs, first round, second round. So they're going to be having like a 20th,
20s,
like a 20th, in the first round there. And so I think that's really good, a really good answer for the Jets to get back. It's a good investment. And also they get a safety right now to fill the spot here as it is, where they can get a guy to fit that spot as well. Overall, I don't think there's a winner and then a loser. I think they both win in a fact. They get what they want. And the Seattle Seahawks, apparently, though, I thought even in the slightest bit, maybe they even gave too much up because there you go. There's 2 first-round picks that you don't have again. And the last couple of drafts that you've squandered the few picks that you had and grabbed like another running back or a guy here filled in gaps to where you have other holes within your team to fill to get you better so you can make it to that run for the Super Bowl. I think getting an all-star safety doesn't even equal a Super Bowl for a team.
Oh, no one player is going to make up enough ground to catapult you to the Super Bowl. It is the ultimate team sport. But the other thing that I have an issue with is, they were able to obtain Jamal Adams. Great. He's a great player. He is really good at what he does. However, he's a little bit limited. He's more of an in-the-box safety. He's not as great on coverage, on the deep end. Now, it's not to say that he doesn't make plays from time to time, but a lot of them are from him coming right up and smacking somebody and knocking them down and making them fumble and creating turnovers. That's his big, huge impact that he makes, as well as great tackling. I mean, you can't in the open field. He's an excellent open field tackler. The other thing too is with this trade is that Jamal Adams, he gets what he wants. He moves on to a different team, but this doesn't make Seattle Super Bowl contending all of a sudden just because they were able to get Jamal Adams. There was one of our nodos that made a comment this week and said that I believe it was Cody and said that it seems like Seattle is starting to try to mimic what they once had in the Legion of Boom by finding players that they used to have and in similarities and getting a guy like Jamal Adams in comparison to Cam Chancellor and saying we're trying to assemble and gather pieces that mimic that style of play. And that's all well and good, but here's the problem with that. When you're unloading multiple picks to get one player, in 2 years, his deal's done. Guess what? The Seattle Seahawks don't have a healthy track record of, spending money, and conserving it and making it last longer and getting multiple players. That's going to lead to the same issue as Jadeveon Clowney. Jadeveon Clowney wants a lot of money. Guess what? Seattle they don't really want to pay a lot of money to anybody right now because they are starting to feel the pressures from having not a lot of cap room and having issues holding on to these talented players. So now you got Jamal Adams. In 2 years, guess what? He's going to call for some big, huge money. He's going to want to be the number one paid safety when that happens. Is Seattle going to be able to? And mind you, he'll be 27-ish. He's still in his prime then. He can go somewhere else and make a huge amount of money. So if that happens, say, for example, I don't think they'll ever let him walk out of the building freely, unless they can help it. But the other thing, too, is this roster, it needs more. So you just traded away the future. These draft picks are very, very valuable. I know a lot of people think that, they just gave up a first for this guy. They gave up 2 firsts for that guy. Big deal. We got the rest of our draft picks. These are critical. These could be catastrophic even draft picks that your team needs to build for the future to become that next potential dynasty or that next great team to contend against. So when you give these up freely like Seattle has in the recent past and now yet again this offseason, they're not really building anything for the future. They're kind of spinning their wheels. You got guys like Bobby Wagner and KJ Wright getting older and older every year. Who's going to replace them? You know, they're kind of giving away these opportunities for the draft to find players to fill those spots. But because of the trades like this, they get one great player, but for how long? And if it's a failed attempt, like they only have him for 2 years, maybe 3 years with the tag, you know, if they can afford it at that time, it's all for naught. So you basically rented a player for a couple years, maybe 3 years tops, and you gave up 2 ones, maybe potentially adding 2 to 3 players that could have made a difference.
All right, we've got Raider Bears in the house with us tonight.
Raider Bears there.
He says, agreed, they aren't one piece away to give up 2 number 1 picks. It was foolish. And their O-line still stinks, he also says. Exactly, Raider Bear, I agree with you there, too, as well. Cody is in the house with us tonight.
What's going on, Cody? Welcome to the show.
On Facebook. We are broadcasting through Facebook, through Restream on YouTube as well, and
sir.
also on Periscope, too. So if you guys are watching us on Twitter, thanks for watching us there, too, as well. So I agree here, too, with what he says. That's what I mean by your number 1 picks. You're giving them away. You could grab a great O-line. We've seen a lot of O-linemen go in this particular draft, in the 2020 draft. That would have been a nice opportunity for them to get somebody, too, as well, to help them out.
And you know what else is pretty interesting is you look at this roster right now, and when they used to have a stellar defense across the board, like we know it as the Legion of Boom, they had 2 shutdown corners. They had a pass rush that would get after you and either pressure you and make you make a mistake for the corners to pick it off, or Cam Chancellor at safety in the back end, or they would get there and sack you. Like, you didn't have a lot of time with that. Now you look at their roster right now, their D-line, I'm sorry, it doesn't look it doesn't look scary at all. It's a lot of unproven players now starting on that D-line, except for, like, a Jerron Reed. You know what I mean? That guy at the D-tackle, he's a menacing player. But everybody else around him, they're all unproven. You have a rookie from last year, an L.J. Collier, who got hurt last year, didn't play a single down, so he's still unproven. No one knows what they have in him at the end. So, I mean, there's a lot of guys that are unproven. There's a lot of young guys that are going to try to step in and make a name for themselves. I feel like now adding Jamal Adams, it enhances your defensive back play and enhances the back end, absolutely. That wasn't a question. The question is your pass rush right now, your D-line, which is lacking. And your linebackers, which are getting older, not to say that Bobby Wagner can't play all of a sudden anymore, but they are getting at the tail end of their careers. You got to start preparing for when they move on. There's no rhyme or reason for there's no way you can figure out when these guys are going to either decide to retire out of nowhere. You know what I mean? We could get into this the practices and right now with the pandemic going on and everything. Maybe Bobby and KJ start talking to each other like, you know what? Man, I don't even, should we play? Should we opt out? If we opt out, then they start thinking about it, and they're like, you know what, man? I don't know. I'm enjoying my life. I'm set. Maybe we retire. You know, maybe we don't even play anymore. You know, if something like that happens, that could be the difference in this defense imploding.
Decider, yeah. We're seeing that with some teams moving out, and that's why we're going to be talking about that in just a little bit too as well. But as far as the trade altogether, again, I can see in a sense where the Seattle Seahawks are looking. I don't like the amount that they gave away for it. I think it was too much. And the fact that, like you said, Jamal Adams, his contract will be up in 2 years. That's about the tail end to where KJ Wright, Bobby Wagner, they're on their tail end too. So you better within those between next year's draft or so, get another linebacker or so to fill those spots here to keep moving forward, because again, you have Russell Wilson on his contract here. You grabbed him to a long deal term, and you want to be able to win as many Super Bowls as you can as long as you have him as well, and at the set rate that he has now too as well. So we'll see moving forward with them.
It's too much. You're giving up the future.
On the Jets, on the other hand, I mean, it's a whole a different story.
Hey, I think the Jets are gonna be better for this in the long run.
Yep. Cody says I don't see the Seahawks defense being high caliber unless they get Clowney before it's too late. we all saw how much he changed their defense, and I think if they want a chance to a Super Bowl team, they need him on the field. He's a great number 2 for them, a guy who could generate some pressure. He did a lot of pressures there for them too, and that's kind of what he did, I think, for the Texans as well. When you had him and J.J. Watt on the other side, he was able to apply pressure to where he could turn into sacks here with them. But then on the other side too, when you have J.J. Watt creating pressure and getting through, that's where Clowney would be able to make his moves to get back, basically clean up.
But when you got guys like Whitney Merciless also that's rushing, you have Clowney on one side, J.J. Watt on the other, it inflated Clowney's numbers. It inflated him in his opportunities to get more sacks with the Texans. Now when he went to Seattle, he created some pressure. Don't get me wrong. He was the pressure king for the Seattle Seahawks. However, not too much in terms of production. He only had 3 sacks as a Seattle Seahawk, everybody. So not a dynamic elite player that can come in and just kind of take over the defense and be the answer for that pass rush. He couldn't do it with Seattle by himself. He needs help to create that extra production like he once had with the Texans. So do I think that – I don't think anybody's going to pay him big money like he's expecting. I think a team that's going to sign him, it's going to be for a fairly – it's going to be a fair value of a contract, but also with a ton of incentives. It's going to be very incentive-laden for him, so that way if he gets those numbers up, he's going to be able to cash in a lot better. So, and because it's late in free agency, I definitely see something happening in like a 1-year deal, no matter who he signs with.
Right.
Just
I think that's going to be coming up pretty soon. I think he
agent.
wants to still again see how it's panning out, see what team fits him best, and now that he keeps bringing his number down, so maybe we'll hear something from Clowney pretty soon. As far as the Jets here, let's go see what Raider Bear chimes in. He says, Jets. Hugely won the deal when you consider their own player was disrupting the market by letting everyone and anyone know he wanted out of there. Was even lobbying the Dallas Cowboys so with every team in the league knowing he wanted to go, somewhere else they still got 2 first-round picks. For him, bad business. I agree with you there, too, as 100%. Well. I was thinking that when it went down as well. Because, again, it's remarkable that here, when they talk like that, and that's why I didn't think he was kind of going to go, because that market had to have been so low. You're thinking, like, man, you can't get rid of this guy because everybody knows that you kind of want to, so they're not going to give you everybody.
And if you do,
so when the Seahawks came back and did that.
Yeah, if you are able to get that trade pulled off, usually you're not going to get anything high. Because they already know he's disgruntled. Well, what does that mean? We're taking a little bit of a risk bringing this guy in a trade, so we can't give you that high value that you're hoping for.
And as far as that goes, too, I brought this up to, I think, Cody when I was talking to him one time. I said to this, now, listen, if I give you a trade or scenario and I give you, say, this one, and then I give you the scenario that was with DeAndre Hopkins, say I give you a second and, David.
Running back.
David Johnson or whatever. Who do you think that guy was for? Do you think the one was Jamal Adams or do you think it was DeAndre Hopkins? I would have flip-flopped and said, if I gave you 2 first-rounders plus a third or whatever, and you gave me DeAndre Hopkins in a 4th or whatever, there you go. That's what it sounds like it would have been. But on the other hand, it was the opposite way. That's how kind of good of a deal this was.
Oh, absolutely.
And how bad of a deal what happened with Houston.
And that's the craziest thing. This is where I really kind of, I start thinking in my own head, and I'm like really confused about, one, this deal happening for the Jets. For them to get 2 1s and a third and a safety to replace Jamal Adams. Yeah, he's not Jamal Adams level, but still, to get all of that in one shot for one player, I'm sorry, I'm kind of a little bit baffled by Seattle being like, hey, yeah, sure, take whatever you want. Bill O'Brien had to be involved in this somehow. Yeah, Bill O'Brien, I think, called Schneider
Seattle.
there, at the GM for the Seattle Seahawks, and said, hey, listen, this sounds like a great deal. You should just move forward with this. I'm telling you, it worked for me. I got rid of Hopkins, and look what I got. I got David Johnson, in the 2nd rounder. I think I made out on the deal. You should do the same thing. I think they gave up way too much in compensation for Adams. Not to say he's not a good player. He is an elite player. But, again, he has some limitations. He's not the all-around safety like an Ed Reed, who was phenomenal. He could come in and stop the run. He was amazing in pass coverage. I mean, that type of player, if I knew I was getting an Ed Reed type safety at 25 years old, I would give up the farm for him. But Jamal Adams, I feel like, has some more limitations in pass coverage than people are talking about the guy. So I think they gave up a little too much, but not to say he will definitely make an impact for them. But again, I feel like the Jets won this trade. If you have to pick a winner or loser, I feel that the Jets win this trade. But the only way we're going to know that is if in 3 years down the road, let's see what they do with those draft picks now. Mm-hmm. Let's see if they can nail these draft picks and bring in rookies that are going to start right away and make an impact.
Right, and that's one of the things I've seen also along Twitter and amongst all the trolls here too as well about this whole deal. A few Seattle fans too is, again, like they still think that the Jets still lost in this one because it's the Jets. They haven't drafted well since 2012 or so.
Right.
They with all the first round picks that they've had and blah blah blah. Well, there's a new regime in here. This last draft was the first time that Douglas was able to get stuff here along with Gase and things. So now they're finally getting their guys involved here. This is, I think, the first time we're going to get to see kind of a look of what they wanted to establish here, because he showed up late last year. And also you got to think of the mindset of where the Jets are. They moved them also in the fact that they still feel, I think, that they're not ready, even though the Patriots seem vulnerable now too, with the effects of the guys opting out here, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But then also no longer having Tom Brady, things like that. It seems like the division's a little closer, but the Jets still aren't exactly there yet. So getting those value picks here, the first rounders, maybe they can turn them into now another successful draft this coming season, and maybe turn the division around here for them. Absolutely. All right, and here goes Raider Bear. He said, here's another one. The Broncos starting rookie number 1 wide receiver, rookie number 2 wide receiver, and a first-year starting quarterback, and all 3 starting with 0 preseason games to develop chemistry. Nope. LOL. Just right in the fire of the AFC West. Lock bust. Yeah, that's what we talked about, a few weeks ago? I mean, because this is the struggling thing that people are going to kind of see, I think, in this coming season here. The teams that had the nucleus of their team staying together the longest, the Chiefs, the Ravens. I think this season, out of most, you're going to see a lot of those steady hierarchy, I guess, teams staying and performing well. Meanwhile, the teams that are building and getting fresh faces in, they're going to be struggling a little bit, I think, to try and get things involved. The lack of practice together, like you said, Drew Lock with his receivers hasn't been able to do it, but yet some of the analysts want to say that Denver could be the surprise team this year, which I don't see.
I've heard that, yeah,
but I don't agree with that. But I mean, if you want to say that, that's fine. That's your opinion. I don't care. That's fine. But I think this is where you're going to see kind of not a lot of shifting here, maybe until the late of the season. Again, maybe a late running team will get hot, will finally start to click together. I think one of the surprise teams possibly could be the Arizona Cardinals with the extra weapons that they have now, another season together with Kyler Murray, and you'll be able to see the effect that he could have on this league as well.
Yeah, the more teams that have been together longer, you're going to see them. Well, you should. We'll say this. You should see them be more acquainted with each other. They'll have better chemistry. They should be able to execute their plays a lot better than some other teams. The teams that are new, that have a lot of new faces, there's a lot of fresh talent coming in. There's a lot of nuances that they still got to learn. Those are the teams that are going to struggle early on. But still, there's nothing that can resemble a true scrimmage against another team when it's live. It's 100% speed. It's fast. It's physical. They're getting after each other. I mean, that's when you really start to see people grow and develop. We're not going to have that this offseason. So there's no preseason games whatsoever. We are going to miss that, and I think because of that, no matter what team is out there, whether it be the Chiefs, Ravens, or what have you, they all across the board are going to struggle in the beginning of the year. It might not show up for certain teams. It might not show any improvement early on, but as we get closer to the middle of the season, you're going to see those teams that were lacking in the beginning. They're going to start to catch up and get a little bit better, because by then they're going to have everything down. They'll have their timing down. they'll be playing better on offense and defense. We'll see better football by then.
Right.
Hopefully. If we have that long of a season, we still don't know how long this is going to go for.
Right, and we talked about this earlier, too, and the fact that now at this particular season, too, I think we're not going to see some of these guys that they had drafted this season here go rushing into the starting spot instantly that have veteran quarterbacks here, such as Ryan Fitzpatrick here with the Miami Dolphins, Tyrod Taylor even. They've said that they consider that he's probably going to be the starter here. And it makes sense just because, again, Herbert has been able to get his reps that he wants to here. He can get practice here and there, but again, it's about getting used to the playbook, getting hands-on on it with everybody, and really maturing into the offense before you just throw them out there. Now, Cincinnati, they don't have that luxury there too, so it looks like they're going to go all in. So let's see what happens with them moving forward. Again, they will be struggling starting off. I mean, it's going to be a rough route for them, but the teams that have a veteran presence there as a backup quarterback now will probably be their starter for a while before they decide to pull the trigger.
And we'll see, because a lot of these high-profile draft picks and stuff, they want to get them on the football field as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm.
It all depends on X's and O's. If these guys can come in, they can learn the playbook really well. Chemistry is going to come. It's a matter of repetition. So if they do practice and so forth, the only thing that they're not going to be able to mimic is when they face an opponent and they have to read the defense. They have to scan the field, read the defense, what coverage it is. Is the Mike blitzing? Is he not blitzing? Those little nuances of the game is going to be a little bit rough for them in the season if any of these rookies do start. But if they do, I don't think any team in this scenario is going to throw the rookie in there because, hey, we want him to play. I definitely think like a guy like Justin Herbert with the Chargers, Tua Tagovailoa, him with the Dolphins, it's going to depend on how fast they can learn the playbook, how they look in practice, are they sharp with their throws and everything, and if they're confident, they will put them in there. They'll see what happens in limited fashion throughout the season. I don't think they'll just throw them in and start them for the whole year unless they are 100% saying, you know what, this kid's got it. Let's see what he can do on the football field live and see what happens. Now, no rookie is going to come in and just destroy the league. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't happen. They're going to make their fair share of mistakes. They're going to learn from them, but it will be interesting if they can beat out the veterans that are already currently on the team. They have the advantage. They already know the playbook. They've been there, done that. So it's going to be hard to beat them. But if they do, you got to know that the team said, hey, he's our best shot.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We appreciate all the comments out there. We love it from you guys. Keep them coming. We appreciate it. Cody Cook, he says, what do you guys think about the Bosa deal? I personally think it's too much money for a DN despite him being an elite pass rusher, especially for a team still trying to figure out their quarterback position in an extremely competitive division. What do you think so far about the Bosa deal?
And here's the thing: he's a franchise player, and if you want to keep these guys like Joey Bosa, there's no doubt about it. He is an elite type of pass rushing talent, and you got to if you need to keep them, you're going to pay big money to keep these guys. They're not staying for free. So Joey Bosa cashed in big time. Don't get me wrong. Do I think it's a little bit too much? Yeah. I also think a lot of these quarterback contracts are getting out of control. You know what I mean? There's a lot of situations now with certain positions. They're starting to get to these enormous numbers and cap hits and huge signing bonuses and all these different crazy things that they're putting in the contracts. It's just inflating these deals to where it's almost becoming to a point where teams aren't going to be able to afford these guys, and they're going to start letting these guys walk because it's going to get to a point where, like, if we pay you, that means we don't get 4 or 5 other players that could help us build. So we've seen it already. We've seen the Raiders. They moved on from Khalil Mack. Did they want to keep him? Absolutely. They tried to work on a deal. It wasn't going to work. They weren't going to pay him what he wanted, so they cashed in and got some compensation for him and turned it into some looks like right now potential stars for their team. So you might see that happen more and more often is trading away some of these guys. If you can't afford them, get some compensation and build your team that way. Mm-hmm. But as far as Bosa goes, hey, They didn't want to let him go. They didn't want to have a chance of him going to maybe a division rival or something or whatever. So they locked him up, paid him a huge sum. And as far as the quarterback situation, they did draft Justin Herbert, and that is, for them right now, that is their golden goose. That's the guy that they're going to develop and try to work real hard with, and hopefully he can become that franchise quarterback for them going forward. So, and if that pans out, they're straight. They're fine. They're going to move on. They're going to be good. So they got a nice nucleus with that team, especially defensively. Mm-hmm. Defensively, they on paper they're killing everybody. Mm-hmm. So. Offensively, that's where they've kind of lacked for a while. Phillip Rivers has been there his whole entire career, has won games with limited talent, with no offensive line really, and was still able to win games. Now you have I wouldn't say unproven, but Tyrod Taylor's coming into a new situation now with the Chargers. It looks like he might likely be the starter right now, and he's been there, done that. And I feel like he's going to fit this offense well, but he's not Phillip Rivers. He's not the guy that can make every single throw in anticipation of everything. Decent quarterback, decent backup, but let's see how fast Justin Herbert can develop. Hopefully, or maybe he can develop faster than what people are thinking. We don't know. Mm-hmm. This pandemic is really screwing us all up. We don't know what to expect.
Yeah, and I think they went with Tyrod Taylor, too, because if you look at his numbers from when he was in Buffalo, he had a low turnover percentage. And what's the complaint that you had about Phillip Rivers for the last couple seasons? The turnovers, and the turnovers in crucial position in the game, in the situation in the game. And that was crucial. That ended up killing them, especially in that, was it the championship game or the week before? It was a divisional game against the Patriots in the playoffs. Last time they were in the playoffs, and they haven't been back there since. So it was 2 years ago. All right, and I think Raider Bear Hughes here says about, the Bosa deal will create another Jadeveon Clowney effect. I play when I feel like it deal.
And
Facts.
That's the other interesting thing is that's something you can't predict. You can't figure out. Like a lot of these guys, when they're rookies and they're on their rookie deal or a deal that they're overachieving on and they want that bigger deal, they're working hard because they know if they work hard and they perform, they're going to get that big money. Mm-hmm. But then after they get the big money, what kind of a player are you? Like what kind of a person are you? Do you have good morals? Are you a hard worker regardless of what you're getting paid? That's what you really find out. And nobody knows that more than the Raiders when they drafted a guy by the name of Jamarcus Russell.
Absolutely.
Guy who got a huge amount of money for being the number 1 overall pick and then just decided to hey, I signed a deal. I'm set for life. I don't have to do any more work. So that was pretty pathetic. But, and that's the thing is that's where you're going to find out. Now the Chargers they've committed to Joey Bosa. They gave him a lot of money. Let's see what kind of player he is. They're going to find out real quick.
It's a guy that that held out in his rookie year before he even signed a deal.
Because of the
that
language.
Type of guy there, waiting for it, finally goes, gets injured early. And that's the thing you've kind of seen with the Bosa family here with the injuries, but still high-level players. We'll see what happens moving forward with them. But again, some of those the fans, they're all over Twitter saying that this is it. They're making their push for the Super Bowl now. Again, I would back out a little bit on that, but it's a step moving forward with them. They had to lock them up, like you said, rather than lose them to free agency. But again, time is ticking because you also have Derwin James still out there who's playing well at a high level on a small deal still.
Now there's a safety.
So,
there's a safety where you could make the argument I might trade 2 ones for that
and
guy.
You've had between them the 1-2 punch between him and Melvin Ingram, on that defense. Are they going to be able to keep that nucleus together there too as well? That's something moving forward. Cody says, sorry, guys, I'm signing off early tonight. He's got a migraine. Sorry, Cody. Sorry to hear that, buddy. We appreciate you joining in with us. Though he said, I'll listen how things went tomorrow. I appreciate that, definitely. I know he's excited to hear our Madden re-ratings that we do.
Thanks for joining.
We're doing running backs tonight. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Raider Bear.
Running backs here. Raider Bear says.
Do you got that up there at Tom and the Bucks?
Yeah. Okay, I'll jump to that one first.
Let's get
all right. Here we
catch
go.
up.
Yeah. I know. I got another a comment from somebody else up here, James Wilford. So sorry, James, if I didn't get to you yet. I'm trying to keep the things rolling here together. Raider Bear says Tom and the Bucks will suck. Thus, I think he means this. This idea of the albino bean pole is just gonna walk in and sling touchdowns with an average O-line, average running game. I can't wait to watch him get leather laid on him. His father time testing ass. There you go. There you go. He's not happy with the Tom Brady situation there.
Well,
and,
he's got a point because
yeah,
here's the thing: Tom Brady inherited now the best weapons he'll ever throw to. And Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and the tight ends. You got Cameron Bray. You got. I mean, we'll say Rob, but who knows how long he'll last because of injuries, and O.J. Howard, right? They got a lot of weapons. He's really happy he's going to be able to throw to them. However, Raider Bear's right. They got an average O-line. Now, Brady with the Patriots has always had a really good O-line to protect him, to give him more time. Not like he needs it because he gets rid of the ball fairly quickly. The other caveat of this situation, too, is, Bruce Arians. He's going to change this offense to fit Brady. Like, he's not going to have him hold on to the football for 5 seconds to throw it down the football field. We've all seen how that works out. But he's going to get rid of the ball quickly, throw short, intermediate type of throws like he was up in New England to keep him comfortable, to get rid of the ball. And Bruce Arians knows how his offensive line is. So that's going to become critical for him as a football player, for Brady to get the ball out of his hands. Now, we've also seen Brady kind of hold on to the football because no one was open short. And when that happens, that's when he's going to run into some problems because this O-line is not going to be able to hold up some of the better pass rushers in this league,
Right, and that's the thing. It's like being able to get rid of the ball within 3 seconds. Are they going to be able to create situations for that to happen? They have the personnel for it.
For sure.
Definitely. So they're going to have to create shorter routes, a better, higher percentage for him to make completions there, and that's where you're looking at. But with the lack of running game, like Raider Bear is saying here too, that tends to be a problem because, again, there's no threat of the run. So what are they going to do? Teams, especially with great defenses and a great pass rush, are just going to come at you.
Yeah, the offense right now is already predicated to be one-dimensional. What do they have? Weapons to throw to. Do they have a running back? No. There's still Ronald Jones III still hasn't answered the questions, can you be the starter? He's failed year in, year out, and he still hasn't been able to make it work. So they still don't have an answer at running back. They have an average O-line, so there's no real concern of them running the football. If they try to, most likely it's going to get stuffed, and then here they are. They're going to throw the ball. Okay, what do? Let's just press man. Press everybody up. Let's play up against them. Let's see if Brady can make it happen.
Yeah, definitely. And Mike Tackett is in the house with us. Here we go. Raider Bears in the house. He says, he's great show, guys. Got to get my own set up. Yeah, see you guys next time. Definitely hope you have a great show tonight. Thanks for joining us tonight. It's always a pleasure when you're on here with us. And hopefully, we'll get to check it out in a little bit.
Raider Bear. For anybody tuning in as a Raiders fan, if you haven't already joined the Raider Bear show, you probably should. You're missing out as a Raiders fan. He has an amazing Raider show dedicated to nothing but the nation and talks all Raiders. Guy who's very educated with football. He knows his stuff with the Raiders. Make sure and check him out if you're a Raiders fan, and even if you're not.
It's pointless to resist, my son.
Yeah,
it is.
Absolutely. It's good.
But yeah, I highly recommend the show.
Wait for it. Dairy.
Yeah, definitely. Raider Bear is always a good time. Mike Tackett is in the house with us tonight. He is in the house. All right. He says Albert Hainsworth is the epitome of complacency. And we were talking about that, play when you want. After he signed a record-breaking deal, 100%. He basically ate all of his money and then vanished. Yeah, I agree. Albert Hainsworth, again, he's been a big part of that whole deal. We'll see what happens if that's what happens with
was a ferocious D tackle, and then Mike's absolutely right. As soon as he got that mega deal, he just went, I don't feel like playing any of the downs. I'm just not going to do nothing.
Oh, yeah, I think he said she, but I know what you meant, Mike Tackett. Definitely appreciate it. And I want to get to something that Raider Bear brought up, too, because it goes in with, I think, what was it James Wilford was saying. James, if you're still with us, I'm sorry for the delay, but I'm trying to get to all the comments here. But Raider Bear says about Josh Jacobs on the line about rookies don't have an impact theory. And then we'll tie that in here with what James says, and he says that Josh Jacobs will be the top under the table fantasy football player. You should pick him up. Yes, second or third round pick.
Well, hopefully you guys haven't drafted yet.
Yeah, right. I know, and that's the thing with fantasy this season. It's got to be insane.
You can't draft early, guys. We've preached this for years now.
We have.
Stop having drafts too early before we even get through we call it preseason, but I'm just going to still call it preseason because it's before the season. But this offseason that we're going to have with practices, you never know when a guy's going to come up with an ACL tear or something like that. You draft a month before the season, 2-3 weeks before, or 3 weeks before the season. That's when you run into problems. And guess what? You possibly could have your second round pick possibly is hurt and done for the year, and you had him in the second round, way too high value. So wait, get a little closer to the opening kickoff. I usually I run 2 leagues
before,
and I usually do it the weekend before the kickoff, the season kickoff. That way, by that time, you got as close as possible. You have all the reports, who's injured, who's not for the most part, and go ahead and feel free to draft.
Absolutely, I agree.
Closer
and then
the
as far
better.
as what he said, even too, with Josh Jacobs, again, breaking the mold of the people saying that rookie running backs can't make that impression on a team their first year. Josh Jacobs at times with the Raiders, I think, was like their whole offense. You know what I'm saying? The way he was getting it done, and he was like you like to say, a bull in a china closet. I like
sure
that.
was.
He was looking good, and so much that Madden even gives him love here up in the top 10 of running backs. But some even think that he should be even a little higher with what he's done on the field.
As a rookie, for Josh Jacobs to come in there, and I don't get me wrong, offensive line does matter too for these running backs. So, but some of the moves that he made guys miss that shouldn't have missed in tight quarters, and I was amazed. I mean, yeah, I'm a Raiders fan, but still, nonetheless, when you see a running back make some of these quick moves, these jukes, these spins, the stiff arm, I love the stiff arm move, but when you see these running backs come in and they make an impact immediately, you have something special. And for Josh Jacobs to come in his rookie year and run over 1,100 yards rushing, as a rookie, and miss 4 games, guys. He missed 4 games. If he doesn't miss those 4 games, I'm telling you right now, he gets 1,500 easy.
Yeah. Absolutely, and then people are looking at him in a different light, even too. Instead of just saying, "Oh, look at Derrick Henry,"
he would have been
and see what
rookie
he's
of the
gonna
year.
do. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, Joe
still should have been.
Guess who just showed up, Joe?
No way.
It's Swervo Gaming is in the house.
Get out of here.
Swervo Gaming is
Where
in the
have you
house.
been?
Double DJ Horn.
Where have you been, buddy?
I think he heard us. We were just talking about him last night.
Yeah, last week.
We're like, man, we haven't seen Swervo in a while.
I know.
There he is. He's with us tonight.
Welcome back,
it's just
buddy.
because we're getting closer to the NFL season. He's feeling it now. He says, you guys think Tua is going to play this year? Yes, I think so.
I think he's
so
going
as
to
well.
play.
And now we were just talking about that a little bit ago. Is it going to be maybe even a tick delayed, possibly, just because, again, the lack of practice that they're probably going to have at preseason games and stuff? Are they going to be a little protective of their new quarterbacks? And again, just because, again, Ryan Fitzpatrick, smart guy, was capable of doing things in Tampa Bay. Look at him. He's got records now because the first weeks that he was in there playing.
Yep.
Did well even for Miami last season, to where they were winning games. So people were like, you're supposed to be tanking right now, and you guys are like competing. So he's no slouch either as well. But despite that, that is their guy. They went and grabbed him in the first round pick. You think they're going to see him and see what they have in this guy. But I think it just might be a little maybe delayed because of the way this offseason has been for the NFL.
And you might see something happen. It's going to be 2 different scenarios, right? It's going to be Tua. Can he learn the playbook? That's going to be step 1. Does he get the playbook down? Does he know it like the back of his hand? Is there any questions if they put him into a game situation that'll be able to handle it? That's step 1. Step 2 is if he does know all that and he's and they're absolutely comfortable with him going into game time situations, they are going to almost in a sense cradle him in his first year, especially with the playbook. They're not going to ask him to do too much. They're going to pretty much ask him to manage the game and not try to do too much as the quarterback coming in. Hit the little 5-yard out route. You know what I mean? Do this. We're going to run the football. We're going to mix it up and give him high percentage throws to the receivers and kind of just play along like that. Now, if he isn't quite there, if he doesn't gain that confidence as we get closer to no preseason games, it's just going to be practices. There's a lot has changed, so there's a lot more that goes into putting these rookies. Do you put them in early? Do you hold back the reins a little bit? Let your veteran quarterback go out there, take over for a little while, maybe by the bye week, and then kind of work Tua in and see what you have. So, yes, I do believe you are definitely going to see Tua kind of like Justin Herbert with the Chargers. I feel right now that both teams, Dolphins are saying, well, we got Fitz, so we don't need to rush Tua. We can put him out there. When Tua is ready, we'll put him in. And the same thing for the Chargers. When Justin Herbert is ready and Tyrod Taylor, maybe we'll throw him in on a play or two or at the bye week and so forth. So you're going to see these guys play. They're not going to be sitting on the sidelines the whole season. And you might even have to wait until towards the end of the season if they know that, by that time they're just completely out of it. Let's see what the kid can do type of thing. But it's a very unique season. It's the first time we're going without preseason games. So we're not going to be able to see any live action with these guys on the football field. So I feel like it's going to be very difficult for coaches to evaluate these guys, to help develop them and get over past mistakes if they had a game. You know what I mean? So they're not going to have those crucial teaching moments in preseason games. That's going to be missed. So it seems like we're not going to see them early on, but who knows? We've seen crazier things.
Absolutely. And Swervo Gaming says, Antonio Brown, you think he will get signed?
No. Listen,
I say no to as well.
I mean,
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Well, it's
Antonio Brown. I'll tell you this right now: when this dude needs help, like it's gotten to a point where Antonio Brown has made a public display of himself. Taking Instagram videos of him working out and stuff like that, and having a video even with his own wife and kids leaving his house. They called the cops on him. That's how far it's gone. He's lost his wife. Yeah, he's lost his wife. He's lost his kids at the moment. He's going batshit crazy. He's really losing his mind.
What the fuck is going on?
And seeing a guy like that, he needs mental help. He needs to see somebody. He needs to realize himself, like, hey, I'm royally screwing my life up. I got kicked out of the NFL. I got cut by 2 teams. I retired twice. Like, there's a lot of issues, and he needs to work on himself first before anything else can happen. But with his age, I just don't see a team taking a chance to bring him in at this point or at all.
Yeah, there you go. He just corrected with his comment. He just commented here. By the way, he's watching us on YouTube, so if you guys are out there on YouTube, come on, feel free to join the party with us. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and on Periscope. We love having you guys here. Keep the comments rolling. It says, I think it would be cool if the Ravens got him. It would be interesting because, again, we saw that video surfaced where he was there with Hollywood Brown with Lamar Jackson here not practicing social distancing, but they're playing and throwing around and stuff like that. And that might be a nice fit for them. I mean, they're already loaded, so I don't think he would. I mean, it'd just be another guy, another weapon of what they have, in a sense. I mean, it would be great in a sense. But what are you going to get, though? Because also, he still has probably time to serve. He has that lawsuit going on with the NFL. Is he going to get suspended for a few weeks? Are they going to just go ahead and if somebody grabs him, say, all right, now you're on the exemplary list now. Now, there you go.
Yeah,
now you
no
can't play. So what's the point then? It's not going to happen. I think the NFL is getting pressured even to sign Colin Kaepernick, and we haven't heard anything about that. So if that's not even going to happen, I don't see Antonio Brown even possibly.
Yeah, and that's because Kaepernick doesn't want to play.
No, I understand that too. He's really silent out there.
That's the thing is, if a dude wants to play, like Antonio Brown, we know he wants to play. He says it all the time in his Instagram and Twitter feeds, like, I need someone to sign me, blah, 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 blah. Like, you see the activity that Brown really wants to get back in the league. However, with Colin Kaepernick, I never see nothing. I don't see him tweeting out saying, I'm ready, come get me, all these other things. So I don't see the drive from Cap like I do Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown wants badly back in the league, but Antonio, you need to get help,
so many issues.
You need to get help. You get help, straighten your life out, then come talk to me. But the other problem, too, is Father Time is right around the corner for him. He's in 30-plus years old right now. Like, what is he, 33, 34? He's getting up there now. No, he was 30, right?
Something like that. I don't know.
I think he was 30 when he got signed. Then there's like
tablet's acting up.
Anyway.
Double check that.
But, yeah, it would be cool to see him on a team, but at the same time, even if let's just say, for example, he does sign next week with the Ravens. You're not just getting a highly talented player because, believe me, age or not, he's still on top of his game right now. But you have to worry about the locker room issues that he was having with the Pittsburgh Steelers, which they did a miraculous job keeping under wraps.
Absolutely.
Then with the Raiders, him freaking out at practice, throwing a water bottle at Mike Mayock, the GM of all people. That's your boss, bro. Like, you can't be doing and acting the fool and calling him a slang term and all this other stuff. That's why he got jettisoned out of there. Then with New England, we're like, oh, New England got a great deal. They got Antonio Brown for nothing, blah, blah, blah. Everything's great. Guess what? He didn't last long there either. Then they moved on without him, cut him, and got rid of him. So that you're getting the Joker in the box type of scenario, whoever signs him. So there's got to be like a mental evaluation and everything. There's too many hurdles to get through for him to get back in the NFL, I feel, at this point. I just don't see it happening.
Correct.
All right. Swervo Gaming also says Devonta Freeman should get signed to a team, but I don't know where he would fit. We always kind of said something like that too as well, and I thought maybe possibly it was a money issue still, like he's still looking for a certain amount or something. I don't get it.
Nope.
But I don't know. I don't know why either. I mean, it's a big surprise with some of these guys that are out there still too. I still discuss things with some Giants fans about, let's look at the DeAndre Baker situation that they have going on there. They're going to be missing out on now the corner there. So that means Sam Beal's going to be the next guy up. And then besides that, you have your slot guy that's going to be Corey Ballantyne. And Logan Ryan's still out there. Why don't the Giants go make a move and get Logan Ryan and have
maybe they're
Bradbury and
now.
Logan Ryan on either side? How is Logan Ryan still out there? I mean, that would be a move there, and I would love that. I think that would be a great move. Yeah. Forget DeAndre Baker for what he's doing because, again, I didn't want him in the first place. He gets a little too physical and creates more problems for you. And now it is off-the-field type of issues. I don't see it's really worth it at this point.
But the thing with Logan Ryan is he wants too much money. That's what it is.
I know, but
he's out there. He wants too much money. No one's going to pay him that.
Yeah, I know.
So that's why he's still out there.
Yeah.
If he comes down from that, then I feel that the Giants have already probably contacted him.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we're not going to pay you that. Let us know when you come down from that number. But with Devontae Freeman's agent and Devontae Freeman have come out and said they are looking for a team. It doesn't matter who they are, if they're Super Bowl contending, if they're not. He just wants to be on a team right now, and it's not about the money.
Okay.
He just wants to get on a roster. So far, I feel that teams are a little concerned with his recent injury issues that he's had with the Atlanta Falcons, and that's why he hasn't been signed just yet. But on a side note, like personally, I think he's a very talented running back. He can do a lot of things for you. He can do everything. He can block. He can catch the ball in the backfield. He can run the ball between the tackles, outside the tackles. So there's a lot to like with Devontae Freeman. It's just an injury question, I feel, for teams at this point, and that's why he's still out there. Plus, you got to look at teams that need running backs. So you look at a team like Tampa.
That's what I thought, too. We talked about it a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I feel we both feel that Tampa Bay right now should be that team looking for these free agent running backs and saying, hey, who could we bring in like a Devontae Freeman and bring him in and give him a shot at the starting job? I feel like he would not only win it, but he would also excel.
Yeah, he says, I think he Swervo's in here. He might be talking about Logan Ryan here, but wouldn't be the number one on the Giants. Maybe they should pay him. Logan Ryan. Yep.
Yeah.
See, maybe, possibly. I don't know. It's because it's better than like what they have. I'm just looking for, as a fan of the Giants, I'm trying to find a place where I can plug holes here and there, because I know last year that's where they were struggling in the secondary. They would give up the bigger plays. They seemed like they've tried to address that this season, and also you'll be getting Ryan Connolly back here, a linebacker. They've also addressed the interior line a little bit more too as well. So I think overall the defense will be a little better.
Linebackers are definitely better for the Giants.
Yeah, so, I'm excited about that. But, again, I'm just looking for, what I think would be best for my team, hopefully, and dream scenarios, because that's what you go around when in this offseason, you start seeing these guys out here, just like you're saying with Devontae Freeman. Again, I thought maybe if you can't beat him, join him. Devontae Freeman joins Tom Brady there now, and he's their running back. Yeah. Sort of like a LeGarrette Blount type of deal that he had in New England, kind of mixed it up there, but can also, if you're talking about dish it out to a receiving running back too on short routes, Devontae Freeman's your guy there too. He can
do everything.
So that'd be great right there in Tampa. Possibly.
The thing with the Giants and with Logan Ryan, it's a business now.
Mm-hmm.
So every fan wants all the talented players on their team, obviously. But when it comes to numbers and stuff, there's a lot of things a lot of variables that are involved. And right now, the Giants and Logan Ryan, they're just not meeting it in the middle. So until something happens on Logan Ryan's end, I feel, until he lowers his price tag, that's when the only time with it that you'll see movement.
Mm-hmm. And he says, did the Jets address how they will fill the Jamal Adams spot?
Yeah, they got a safety.
They got another
already.
safety to fill in there. Yes, he's older, and so, but they also got those picks there as well. Now, it's what they do next season moving forward in the next coming draft. What's that going to turn into? So really the effects of the trade, like you and I have talked about, you're not going to see that until the next year or two with those picks that they have, what that's going to develop into, moving forward. But right now, it's a great move for them because I think, and why Jamal Adams kind of wanted out in a sense, like he's the one that talked Le'Veon Bell to go there.
Right.
But once I think they realized that they weren't going to kind of be that team, that flashy team, like here we come, AFC East.
Yeah, we're going to push for the division.
We're not taking the division. I want out. I'm out. I don't want to waste my young career here with this loser team.
Well, he's also witnessed several younger players from the Jets leave.
Yeah.
Into free agency, like Robbie Anderson. Now, everybody wants to pick on the guy and say, yeah, he's no good. But really, I'm sorry, I'm going to pick a little bit on Adam Gase here, is I think it's more of an Adam Gase thing than it is a Robbie Anderson thing. The guy is really fast. He's tall. He's got long arms and everything. But I don't feel they were using him as a complete receiver. And I think you might see a little bit of difference now with the Carolina Panthers because that's where he ended up. So you have guys like that leaving, and you saw some players that were leaving the Jets in free agency where Jamal Adams feels in his mind, he's probably like, well, we're not really building, we're losing. So we brought in a guy like Brashad Perryman to play receiver now, who, don't get me wrong, I like him a lot. I think he's a good player. But, again, turnover in the roster doesn't necessarily equal success. So he's noticing more minuses than adding in terms of the roster. So at that point, he probably said, you know what, I'm done. You guys are not building. Where's the offensive line for Sam Darnold? Where's the extra weapons besides Perryman? You know what I mean? And Jamison Crowder that they have. Where's all these added players and added talent that we need to be more successful? And because he wasn't seeing it, I want out. Just get me out of here. Anything. Just get me out.
Yeah, maybe he was thinking that. Who knows? But we love it. We love the comments.
But I do want to bring up it's Bradley Mcdougall. He's 30 years old. They got him in a trade from Seattle. He comes in. He's going to fit in nicely. He's just going to fit right into that spot for where Jamal Adams once was. He's a good tackler. He's a better pass coverage guy than Adams was. So that might balance out for them in the short term. And with those extra draft picks that they have now, they could even further, build for the future.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much, Swervo Gaming. It's good to hear from you. Everybody else out there, too. Also, if you're on Facebook, Twitter, come on, bring the comments here. Whatever you guys want to talk about here, we'll talk about it. But, with the COVID-19 and everything, the pandemic that's going on, sports are starting up, but then also stalling. A lot of questions around the NFL. The NFL says that you can opt out of the season. You won't get your paycheck, but you will get like a little severance pay.
It's like
like $150,000.
It's $150,000 somewhere around there.
So some of these guys, you're seeing them taking some of that opportunity here. And we have a compiled list of some of the key players, kind of, I guess, or more notable names for their teams
as of right now,
sitting out right now. And we heard just a few just today pop out. One was Damian Williams and also Nate Solder out there. So these are some interesting ones. And the Marquise Goodwin, I think, is interesting too. Goes to a different team. The Eagles here, they see, I think, they're like, all right, we got another wide receiver. Here we go. Marquise Goodwin. And he decides to opt out. So, I mean, it's pretty tough along the sides of them. Nate Solder, I had tweeted out about his tweet about him not being out there, and then also shared it on Facebook.
It's pretty crazy what he's going through right now.
Yeah,
though. So I completely understand
why what he's doing. Like, I like him as a person again.
Yeah.
I mean, and nothing against him.
Right.
I thought it was a bad pickup on their part, and you and I have talked about this about just the money. I didn't like it. We know why they did it, but I didn't go ahead for it.
Right.
Now we're stuck with it. So even though he's sitting out here, I think it's an opportunity for younger guys to get opportunities to develop possibly and see what we have out of our youthful offensive linemen that we grabbed in the draft. I already don't really see us playing too well. The New York Giants, I see they got a tough schedule this season even too. So some of the experts saying as well about, this is the year Daniel Jones is going to light it up, or this. I would pump the brakes on that a little bit too. I saw the way the teams that they're playing. Yeah. It's going to be a tough schedule for them. But I think it's a year of development. See what we have here too. First year coach, offensive coordinator here, and Jason Garrett. Let's see what we have first,
and that's really where.
So let's see what you have.
That's just where I was going to go with that too. Is because it's the first year for the coaching staff. It's the first year for the offense being implemented. There's going to be some struggles here and there. Now, do I think they'll be better? I do, because I don't know how much better, but I think they'll be better than when they were with Pat Shurmur. I feel like that was a failed experiment, didn't work out. Now they have a gentleman there at the
Joe Judge
as the head coach, who's a no BS type of head coach, and he's not looking for excuses, just wants go out there and do your job. He took that model from New England, brought it to the New Jersey Giants. Yeah, that's right. I said New Jersey.
That's real funny.
But
that's hurtful.
But anyway, well, they're in Jersey.
That's because New York City is too small to fit a team that big.
Yeah, right. But nonetheless, I feel like that offense will be better. I don't know how much better it's going to be, but I do see an impact there. As far as defense go, I feel like that's going to be yet. Now, because of a new coaching staff, it's going to change again. So all these players got to learn different verbiage and so forth. So it's like they have to just hit the reset button and learn all over again, which is going to slow their development a little bit. So, yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like they will be better in the sense of on a coaching standpoint, but they will struggle from time to time based on their opponent.
All right. Swervo Gaming says here, I think he says again, do you think the Cardinals will be a playoff team this year? New weapons on offense, maybe they make the push. And we had just brought this up within this episode, earlier on in the show, again, about teams that have a roster that is kept their same nucleus. The Chiefs, the Ravens, stuff like that. Teams that still have a lot of same players, not like fresh young quarterbacks working with new wide receivers, trying to get on the same page and things like that, learning the playbook. The Cardinals' second year with Kyler Murray here. Now they have DeAndre Hopkins and Larry Fitzgerald, who is still like just an amazing player despite getting older, just doesn't stop. You know what I mean? I mean, how wonderful
still bringing it
is this here, right here? I mean, a teammate that he had, Anquan Boldin, there with him, not even in the league anymore. He's still there and is still being productive. And right there, you got DeAndre Hopkins on the other side. Kyler Murray's got to love it there, too. Plus, their running game with Kendrick Drake, even, too, I like as well.
Yeah, Drake is
nice
a huge
little
upgrade
spot there, too. So, playoff team, possibly with the extra teams that you're allowing now in the playoffs this season, I think they're going to be very competitive. That's why I'll give you that much at least. I think they're going to be a better team than they were last year. We saw them start to make a push a little bit towards the end of the season last season. But I think they're going to be much improved, and they're a team to watch, definitely.
Yeah, they definitely got better late in the year last year, and with having one of the best receivers now on your side, that really does help a quarterback as well. But they have a ton of young weapons. So now you have Hopkins. He mentioned Larry Fitzgerald, but also you have Christian Kirk and you have Andy Isabella. You have Hakeem Butler. A lot of Cardinal fans or maybe even casual fans don't even remember who Hakeem Butler is. He was drafted in the same draft as Andy Isabella, a very big target, and has speed. Never got a chance to get on a football field due to injury. So I'm excited about him out of Iowa State. I want to see what he can do with the red zone under Larry Fitzgerald's tutelage, which I think is going to pay huge dividends for these younger receivers. And with all those weapons, Kyler Murray's got to be feeling pretty good about himself, along with Kenyon Drake, and they're a little slightly improved offensive line as well. So a lot to be excited about as a Cardinals fan coming into this year. However, do I think they're going to make a push for the postseason? I do not, because it's only the second year now. We did see them improve, but now they improved late, and now it's a huge offseason that everybody is going to struggle through. There's no preseason games to better your players, to develop them. It's all practices. So you're not going to be able to mimic those game time situations against another opponent, and that's going to hurt everybody across the board. So I feel like there's going to be some sloppy play. It is going to be exciting to see what this offense can do now with a guy like Hopkins. But in the end, I think that defensively they have some nice pieces, but they're still not complete on that side of the football. So I feel like that might be their downfall a little bit. Offensively, I think you're going to see them take another step forward and play better. But defensively is where they might struggle from time to time.
Right, and I mean, like I said, I think they're going to be very competitive, and we're going to do our, evaluation of all the divisions pretty soon. I think maybe even starting next month, before we get the season started here, and doing our picks, our predictions of who's going to take the divisions. Now, in this division, I think it's going to be close, and I would not be surprised if possibly the Los Angeles Rams are on the bottom of this division.
It's very possible.
So that's one thing to look at. He says Chase Edmonds did play pretty good last season.
True, true. I mean, yeah, he's the rotational
And you still got
guy.
Chandler Jones, who's just nonstop balling out, sack master, and nobody talks about him ever. He's hitting there. So I think him and DeAndre Hopkins even, I mean, there's a few guys on that team that have chips on their shoulders even too, and I think they'll just play really well and be a little bit of a surprise team. Now, playoffs, though, I don't know. I like to keep the bar low, so then it looks even better when they do flourish.
I hear you. But the other nice thing about that team too is defensively they do have some nice young talent. With their draft pick, Simmons there. I forgot his first name right now off the top of my head. But
Isaiah
Simmons from the Clemson Tigers.
Yep.
He's going to be an interesting player to watch because his freakish ability, you could literally put him anywhere on the football field. I'm interested to see where exactly they put him. Are they going to put him in and rush him outside as a linebacker standing up? Are they going to put him as a D end at times? Are they going to move him around? Is he going to play linebacker, middle linebacker, safety, slot corner? He can do a lot of things with that giant frame of his. So he's going to be very interesting to watch. As well, the rest of this defense, though, you look at their D-line, they kind of changed up a little bit now. In the offseason, they added Jordan Phillips from the Buffalo Bills, who is one of the best D tackles in football. So they got a really good player there in the free agency, along with an aging veteran like Corey Peters, who's going to start there. And Chandler Jones, like you brought up. Also, Devondre Campbell comes over from Atlanta. Starting caliber linebacker from Atlanta Falcons. Now he comes over and helps fill the void for the Cardinals with Jordan Hicks, who also comes over from the Eagles. So they really concentrated heavily on defense this offseason to upgrade it in every facet possible. Don't forget Budda Baker, who plays safety. He can play corner. He does everything well. Byron Murphy, who I was kind of surprised by last year as their right corner, kind of starting to make a name for himself, was definitely playing fairly well for the Cardinals late in the season. So there's a lot to like with this team. They've made some upgrades on defense, so we'll see how the chemistry builds on that side of the football, and that's going to pretty much dictate how well this team is going to be. A lot of people are high on Kyler Murray. We've seen a little bit of his success from time to time this past season. Let's see if he can take another step in his development and become a little bit better in terms of decision making. Because sometimes when he was rushing and running around to create more time, he missed some throws, a little bit of a misconnection on some of them. But that's going to come with time. So very exciting team to keep an eye on for sure.
All right, Swervo Gaming says, do you think the Steelers make a big push this year now that Big Ben is back? I don't think they make a big push. I mean, I think they still will be relevant. I don't know about taking the division, though. So
I don't think they're going to make a big push for the playoffs or anything like that. I feel that this is now. I know I sound almost like a broken record from last year, but I feel that if the Browns, yes, I said the Browns, if the Browns' offensive line has gotten better, now they did draft Jedrick Wills, which is going to be a huge upgrade already at the tackle position, something that they've been missing since Joe Thomas. Hopefully Wills is that guy that can kind of stop everybody on that edge and help them out. If that's the case, if the offensive line gets better, we already know the Browns have an amazing weaponry and arsenal at their disposal. So I think if they can better protect Baker Mayfield, I think you're going to see not only a better Baker on the football field and dishing out to his weapons, but Browns, along with that already solid defense that they have. And Myles Garrett just got a huge deal this year, so he's locked in with the Browns. So that's going to be interesting. As far as the Steelers go, yeah, they have Smith-Schuster there at receiver. He's going to be looking for a big-time contract after this year, after this season. But he's going to start the conversation. Yeah, I want to be paid. And he's the only dynamic receiver that they have since Brown isn't there anymore. So, and Big Ben, how long does this guy have? We've seen him get injured time and time again. He's had nearly 2 years off, people. 2 years of not throwing a football, of not doing anything. So you got to wonder, is he going to be super rusty when he comes back? I think so. I think you might see him struggle a little bit in terms of getting that chemistry back that he once had with these players and running the offense. I mean, yes, don't get me wrong. It's not like I think he forgot the plays. He definitely knows that. But it's getting in the groove again. It's getting on the football field, reading the defenses all over again, doing everything quick and snappy. You don't have time to think about it. You got to react. And I feel like that's where he's going to be a little rusty and connecting with his receivers. And this pandemic isn't helping anything because no preseason games to get that live feel again. Nothing like that. No scrimmages. The only scrimmages you're going to have is against your own teammates. And let's be honest. I mean, it's nothing like the real thing. I mean, you don't have a player across from you that wants to take your head off. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they're going to be competitive, don't get me wrong, but it's nothing like lining up against a complete stranger.
Right. I think it's a tough time for them in that division. They've got the Baltimore Ravens there.
I will say this, though. Defense is really good.
Oh, it is.
So,
it is.
If anything, that's going to be their savior. Is that defense hopefully could help Big Ben maybe win a few extra games.
Absolutely. Definitely appreciate the comments. Swervo Gaming
back
in town, keeping it strong here.
This is awesome. We were so happy to see you, buddy.
By the way, he's on YouTube, so if you guys are watching us on Facebook too, you can head over to YouTube as well. And if you don't feel like using your Facebook app, go to YouTube, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell whenever we go live. Boom, there you go. It's right there. Plus, we have some short videos too, some funny ones here and there that we add there on occasion too as well.
Know-it-alls. If you haven't already seen it, we uploaded an ad. And we do have some outtakes from the advertisement that we created. It was kind of fun. So make sure and check that out and let us know what you think.
Yeah, the outtakes. Yeah, we did an ad that went across the nationwide, and we ended up getting a lot of feedback from that and some more members to our Facebook group. We really appreciate all of our new members. Let's go. We'll take a look back here at the 2020 players opting out. We already brought up Nate Solder and Marquise Goodwin a little bit. I think with the Chiefs, Laurent Duvernay-Tardif And Damian Williams, I think, is kind of an interesting factor. Yes, they just grabbed another running back, luckily in the draft for them, the Chiefs. So I mean, that kind of fits nicely there too.
So Damian, I got to ask you a question. When you decided to opt out, were you doing it because you are absolutely 100% sure that you're not going to lose your starting job? Because you might have just given up your starting job. That's all I'm saying. Because they did take, the LSU running back,
St. Hilaire.
And I'm telling you right now, he's not the fastest guy, but he is the shiftiest guy. And if he can make people miss and get a few yards, he doesn't have to break it for touchdowns all the time. But you might have cracked open that door a little bit to where if this guy comes in and balls out and plays extremely well and does everything better than you, which is possible, he's hungry. He's coming after your job. So you might have just kind of given up. I'm not, and you got guys like Darwin Thompson, who is always licking his chops to get more playing time. So you've cracked open the door, bud. That's all I'm saying is you cracked open the door for these guys potentially to take your job and make you a bad instead.
Absolutely. And then I think the effect of not having the guard there, I think is going to be tough for the Chiefs
All
as well.
pro guard.
Absolutely. I mean, and yes, he's doing it for the greater good. He's in Canada working with people
I get that.
to try and help with the COVID-19 spread that's going on there. We appreciate that and what he's doing.
Here's the other thing is they replaced him with a guy who's a little bit of a journeyman now at this point with Kalichi Assembly. The Raiders moved on from him because they noticed a little downtick in his play. He was on the Jets last season, and the Jets were able to let him walk.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you?
Yeah.
And the Jets need offensive line.
Right.
So if they were letting a player walk when they need that position, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's going to hurt right there. That player opting out is going to hurt them. But we all know the reason why he's doing it. It's something to be commended, actually, for a guy who has his doctorate, is a medical doctor, and is going to use that and enter that practice and do nothing but good things for people and try to heal them and make them better. It is truly amazing.
And as far as even the Chiefs, I think they're going to see some pushback, I think, this season a little bit for some teams. They ended up pulling out some of these games you saw in the whole playoffs. They were down in a bunch of them, all the last three including the Super Bowl. They were down and out, and the teams kind of gave them that a little bit of an opportunity, let them hang in there. And that's the thing with this offense is despite the mistakes that they make, they're still able to just turn it on and get a couple big plays with the players that they have, Tyreek Hill and stuff. You can just make an explosive play just like that.
Right.
Despite the mistakes that Patrick Mahomes was making here and there, able to get it done and pull off a win in a defense that played a tick better than what they really should have been. That's what helped propel them with the play of Chris Jones also in the playoffs and how got them going further. Now with a couple of these, I'd say, again, Duvernay not being there, it's going to hurt them a little bit too as well. I think they're going to have a little bit of a chink in the armor this season, come down to earth a little bit so much. Again, still be good because, again, they've got that strong nucleus, like I said. A lot of same players coming back plus some nice little additions here moving forward. But I see them to get pressured by some other teams out there.
For sure.
Now, let's talk about the Patriots here. I mean, they have Patrick Chung on the list.
And they have the most players right now opting out.
We didn't list all of them here, but these are just like...
Actually, that is all 6.
Is it? Oh yeah, wait, I didn't see that. Sorry, that's right. I made the list under there.
It's all 6, but the last 2. Let's face it, when your fullback opts out, it's not a huge deal.
And even Brandon Bolden, like he's on the field on occasion,
backup.
But
Marcus Cannon is a starter.
Yep, Dante Hightower and Patrick Chung, who's been there for ages,
and it's almost a good thing. Like I don't know how you Patriots fans feel about Patrick Chung, but I've been watching the guy, and I see him making a lot of mistakes at safety, so. It might be a good thing to give maybe your next young up-and-comer a chance for that job.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the way they work. I mean, this is a great opportunity for them because I even faced it to somebody else, too. I said, listen, Patrick Chung, I mean, that's not going to make that big of an effect, I think, for this team. If he went to free agency today, is anybody picking him up?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's only the Patriots. He fits what they do. He's been there so long. He's a journeyman. He's just one of their guys. You know what I mean? And he's probably not asking for a lot of money either, too, and that's what they like. You get some production. You play well without, saying, all right, now it's time for me to get paid. that's how they roll. So I don't think they're really losing out so much there. Dante Hightower, I think, is their biggest kind of hit they're going to take here on the defense, and that was their strength last year, having that nice defense, keeping them together because the offense was struggling. Leaky offensive line, Tom Brady taking more hits than usual, and not getting the ball, the arm strength, and hitting his targets with the passes. A lot of them to the dirt to Julian Edelman, to where there was even frustration between those guys at times during.
And that
some
was
of the
with
games.
no pressure.
Yeah, but that's why they're in a rebuild kind of mode in a sense. Tom Brady says, "Yeah, peace, I'm out. I'm not dealing with this then, and I've been giving you my deal, discount for years. Now it's time for me to go seek free agency.
Time to get paid.
Get paid now for it. So there you go. There. So I think not having these here again is a bit of a struggle for the New England Patriots. I don't think just because they got Cam Newton, they're going to take the division. I think they are in a competitive position here, but by no means are they going to be taking the division. I think, again, they're going to be a 500 team at most.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, here is to look at is not only some of these players that are opting out, there are 3 of them, 3 out of the 6 are starters. So that hurts all in itself. I know you have the next man up mentality, but when you have a starter that has been starting there for years and no one's been able to beat them out, it's for a reason. So guys like that, now you have Marcus Cannon. He's not going to be there. You got Shaq Mason, who's playing right guard right now. He was hurt last year, so they did get a little bit of the injury bug last year on that offensive line, leading to some of those pressures and lack of production on the O-line part. Also, Isaiah Wynn. This is a guy for the last 2 years that hasn't played in the season. Like, he's played a couple games, and then he gets hurt, and he's done. So are we going to see Isaiah Wynn come in this year having all the rest in the world, because now you don't have to worry about preseason games. It's just practice. And now how long is he going to last with a track record that he has? If he goes down, I don't know. This offensive line and going forward, it looks a little rocky. We see Joe Thuney, he got tagged to stay at left guard for them, all pro, mind you. But he's on a one-year rental at
Plus
the moment.
Losing players to free agency this season. I mean, they lose Kyle Van Noy, who was kind of an under-the-radar kind of player for them, played well in the playoffs and got them places. He's no longer there either as well, who was like a strong part of their defense.
And the other thing, too, is receivers. Where are they? Because you look at this roster.
That's what they struggled with last year
You
as well.
have Julian Edelman, who's now getting into that almost mid-30s now. The guy's been around for quite some time. And I'm actually kind of surprised that he didn't even want to get traded to Tampa Bay.
Right,
to go
especially
with
after Tom left. Yeah, right.
So, but after him, you got guys like Mohamed Sanu, who last year got hurt, couldn't lock down a starting job. He was kind of a rotational player. N'Keal Harry, rookie last year.
He's got to step up.
He was hurt last year. Didn't get to show up until later point in the season. Then you started to see some flashes here and there of him making an impact. But after that, they got type of players. They got a guy from Arizona with Damiere Byrd. I mean, you ever hear of him?
Yeah.
No. They're giving guys chances to try to earn and win this job. Marquise Lee, who's been injury-riddled with the Jacksonville Jaguars, they're giving him a shot. Matthew Slater, who knows? He's been there forever. Maybe he makes an impact. Him showing flashes. But, again, what I'm getting at is that there's no real big key receiver there to lock it down besides Edelman. And he's getting older, and he's how much longer is he going to last? Is this his last year? Could he retire after this year and say, you know what? Nope, Tom's not here. This is not working.
Yeah.
I'm done. You know what I mean? A lot of things could happen. So it's the most interesting. Obviously, we know their defense is going to be rock solid. It's going to be pretty good. Even with Dante Hightower, I feel not being there to play. I still feel that their defense is going to be rock solid, but the quarterback situation, that's what everyone's interested in right now. Who's going to win the job? Jared Stidham, I'm pretty excited about because we've seen flashes of him playing well with that system, and now he already knows it. It's up to Cam Kincaid for Cam Newton. If he can't, then I'm saying week 1 is going to be Jared Stidham all the way.
Yeah, so we'll see what the effects that some of those players not being there have on these teams moving forward, and there's going to be more to come. So we'll see what happens before
That's right.
the season starts and who else drops off with this whole thing, and if we'll be able to field teams coming through the 2020 season. All right, so let's move on now to our In the Know fact of the day, Joe.
What do we got?
All right, here we go. I decided to do this one because of the now the Washington team, is it now? The Washington football team.
You didn't
that
make
they're
the
called now.
announcement.
That's
I
right.
was looking forward to that announcement.
Sorry, I'm going to do it afterwards.
All
Here we
right.
go. But here you go. In 1943, though, then Washington Redskins quarterback and tailback Sammy Ball won the first Triple Crown. That's right. He led the NFL in completion percentage at 55.6%, punting 45.9 yards per punt, and defensive interceptions 11 in 10 games. The Redskins fell, though, to the Bears 41-21 in a 1943 NFL championship game. There you go. How about that? Sammy Ball, the Triple Crown player here on our In the Know fact of the day. There you go. It is, Joe. There you go. It's our In the Know fact of the day. Sammy Ball. I mean, everybody wants to talk about, the two or multi-tool like quarterbacks, dual threats, guy that can run like Lamar Jackson all over that.
Right.
This is a guy that was your quarterback, your tailback,
your punter.
He punted, and also he had 11 interceptions in a season. You can't ask for a player you don't see a player like that these days.
No, that's pretty multi-talented.
Oh my goodness, he's up there like Bo Jackson.
Yeah,
he's amazing.
Right, and back then you saw more of that.
Yeah,
now you don't.
You did,
the modern day, you don't
bigger
see
teams. You can field less people playing both sides of the ball.
Right,
I understand that, but how amazing
that's incredible.
Is that? Sammy
That's
Ball
definitely
forever
incredible.
embedded in football history. For then, the Washington Redskins, which is no longer a team now, they've moved on. So we're witnessing history this season. It's pretty amazing and pretty crazy altogether. All right, so moving forward now, we've been doing Madden re-rating for the past 2 years, I think, or 3 years now. This is our third year doing it. Just because whenever Madden comes out, they list their guys. They're the top players. They're 99s and crap.
Everybody freaks out.
I don't care. Nobody's a 99, so I have a big issue with that.
Jim
so
has
I always
a big
have
issue.
issues with all these ratings, just like players do and everybody else stuff. So I decided it was a good idea. Let's start to do re-rating. Let's take the data, because I will get the data they give you with their stiff arm, their this and that, their throw. It doesn't add up to 99. It doesn't add up to this. So what happens if we take all the data they give you, we add it all up, average it up, and then what do you get? That is that player's true average based on the data that Madden gives you.
However, it's not all the categories.
No. It's not like kick power for a quarterback.
We've already done that. We've done the homework for you guys to break it down based on their position. So, for example, if you have a quarterback, right, and his kick power is 34, we don't even count that because it doesn't involve that position. So why have it as a category? Why have it as a rating? So get rid of all that stuff. So in throwing power, that's a legitimate rating that we include in it. Throwing accuracy, medium, deep, short, that's all included. Now you're seeing the point. We're only taking the categories that Madden provides us for the certain position that they're playing in.
Absolutely. So let's get into it, Joe. All right. Now, so we did quarterbacks last week.
We did. And if you missed it, make sure you go ahead and check us out on YouTube or Facebook and try to track us and look. Why don't you guys have a look at that? What do you think about our quarterback ratings versus Madden's? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let us know your comments and make sure you share and like. Thank you very much.
Kid Rasco in the house here on YouTube. He's giving us 5 stars again. That guy joins us again. I love it when he's in here.
What's going on,
flashing
kid?
the flare and the glare and the 5 stars. You're a 5-star
know-it-all.
Know-it-all. Yeah.
You are
the
now a
know-it-alls.
know-it-all.
That's right.
Kid, I got to ask you real quick. Did you subscribe?
Yeah.
If you subscribed, you are now officially a know-it-all.
Know-it-all. Exactly. And also tell your friends, too, to join. Have a lot of fun here with us and be know-it-alls along with us. There you go. So, all right, here's the Madden 21 ratings on the running backs. This is what they have given us here. So, Christian McCaffrey, a 99, which Christian McCaffrey, yes,
he had a great year.
player, a great all-around player. He can catch, he can run, he can do special teams. But a 99, I don't think so. I don't believe anybody is a damn 99.
Is a no on
okay,
99.
so there you go. I disagree. Okay, so then you got him. You've got Derrick Henry at a 93. Okay. Zeke at third with 92. Nick Chubb at 92. Dalvin Cook here now is here with a 91. Saquon with a 91. Aaron Jones, 90. Joe Mixon, 89. Alvin Kamara at an 88. And then Josh Jacobs, for all you Raider fans out there, cracking the top 10 with an 88. Now, there's a few, again, names in here to where I think they should be up higher. Saquon Barkley, I think, should be up higher. He should be the top 3 around there or so with these guys here. Derrick Henry, Zeke still in the same play. Nick Chubb, I think he's a great player, but I still think he should be a few ticks back here still because I think he's still, again, productive. I just don't think the standards of what they're saying here, though, what they give him here.
Yeah, this list kind of, perplexed me a little bit. I'm sorry. Josh Jacobs should be a higher ranking than what he is.
Especially the year that he had. Yeah.
As a rookie, it's incredible. And then also missed 4 games, still had 1,100 yards. Saquon Barkley absolutely should be top 3. I mean, there's no way he should be 6th. Definitely a great running back. As well, Derrick Henry, I feel, should be lower. I don't know why why they rated him so high. McCarthy, he does everything extremely well. He deserves the number 1 spot. And Nick Chubb, unlike Jim, I am really high on Nick Chubb. I think he is an amazing running back, one of the best at breaking tackles and keeping going. So I think he could be in that middle range somewhere. I think 4 is okay, maybe 5. Cook, the dude has been injured for pretty much the majority of his career so far. So because of those injuries, I feel like he should be dipped down. Still in the top 10.
I agree with that as well.
But dipped down a little bit. Aaron Jones, okay, yeah, you can make the argument somewhere in that area.
He played well last year.
Yep. Joe Mixon, he's more of an underrated running back that nobody really talks about because he's on the Bengals.
Right.
The guy is a juggernaut running back. He deserves to be up a little bit more. Kamara, he's a difference maker, but if we're going year to year now, last season didn't have a great season, so was a dip in production. He
Fantasy
could be.
Owners will tell you that.
I could see him being 10th or maybe even just missing the top 10. And Josh Jacobs, I mean, I'm sorry, what I've been able to see from this young kid and seeing what he's able to do, he's got to be in the middle somewhere. But again, they have him at 10.
I like Nick Chubb. I mean, don't get me wrong, but again, I just thought sliding a little down, and I believe you here with Dalvin Cook again, a few ticks down, like to maybe 9th or 10th around there. Now it's funny too because that draft he came out the same year Lamar Jackson did, and my plan. I'm a Giants fan. I said to Cody, I said, listen, my plan I want the Giants to do to kind of trade back, get Lamar Jackson, and then in the second round get Nick Chubb. Now, if we really did that, I think our franchise would have been
however,
changed around. But who knows?
You have to remember now the offense that was created for Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. If the Giants could mimic it when he was in there, then you're looking at amazing offense. But again, that's why there's so many different variables with the drafts, what teams players go to.
Absolutely.
So it is fun to dream, though.
Oh, yeah,
sure.
It is definitely cool, and it made me look a lot smarter, I think, too. So, all right, so here we go. Let's get to it, Joe. Let's look at it. First of all, let's look at Christian McCaffrey.
Okay.
Again, now here, this is our re-rating when we're going through it. Now, Joe, he was a 99, so after Joe and I crunched the numbers here, he came out to, what was it, an 88. He's an 88. So, I mean, that's a bit of a tick down. I mean, what do you think about that so far? Going from a 99 to an 88.
But again, we're just so everyone knows, we're not making up numbers to change their overall rating. We're basically taking the same rating that Madden provided us, but only from certain categories that fit this position. So, an 88, hey, the numbers are what the numbers are. So, he is not a 99. He is an 88 type of running back.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so moving up
I still
next.
feel that's a little short, a little low. Yeah. I mean, for a guy that dynamic, I still feel he should be in the mid-90s
like an 88, like with the actual stats that they gave him. I know. I thought that was even a tick down. And that's the thing with these running backs. None of them hit 90. So that's what I thought was a surprise.
Wow.
I think they all should have been near the 90s, but I didn't think like one spectacular 99 and then a tick down. Your next tick down was a 93 like they had. You know what I mean? I don't see that. All right, so there you go.
What we got next?
All right, so moving next up is Derrick Henry, and he comes out of the gate here with an 87. So
Okay.
he's just one tick down from Christian McCaffrey
Okay.
now. So far we've got 1 and 2
Yep.
right in line with each other.
Well, Derrick Henry, I kind of agree with the 87 being around there. He played phenomenal when he was given the rock and everything, and that was kind of like 3/4 of the way through the season. He started to run a lot more and started to show really what he could do. But 87, 90 maybe would be I feel comfortable with for Henry. But nonetheless, the numbers are what the numbers are.
Yeah, absolutely. And for a guy that, we've been asking for the Tennessee Titans, just give the damn guy the rock instead of going into running the wild card. They finally did. We got to see it and exploded on the scene. Now people know who he is, and that propelled him even up to.
Oh, they're going to key on him this year.
Oh, absolutely. They're going to. All right, so moving into now third, Ezekiel Elliott. He moves up into an 89 here now.
Okay. So
he has an 89, so he jumps and leapfrogs
number one.
Christian McCaffrey here. So he was first rated, what was it, a 92. So
92.
he drops even a tick down. So everybody's taking drops in this one here. But he is an 89, and right now as far as we're looking at, he is higher than Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, he's number one.
So he's definitely the number one guy. All right, moving forward.
That makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so moving forward here, I can't get my list to move forward. I don't know why here. My mouse is acting funny, Joe.
So
there we go.
I don't want to hear about your personal problems.
Yeah, I don't know. It's damn mice.
But anyway, next Nick differently. I'm curious to see though what Nick Chubb's ranking is because now we've seen Christian McCaffrey go from number 1 to number 2, and Zeke jumping all the way to number 1 in one fell swoop. So, Nick Chubb, what does Nick Chubb have for a rating?
All right, Nick Chubb now, after you're doing all the math, he goes down significantly to an 86.
Whoa!
Drops.
Wow.
Drops to an 86. So they show him love on his overall rating.
Yeah.
But then when you're looking at the stats that they give him with his players' stats, and again, with that one, you might even want to take in consideration that he is – was injured all the time. Maybe the injury factor now comes into play here.
Gotcha.
And that brought him down a bit.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that could be a factor here.
Yeah, and that would make sense, though, because, you think about those injuries, so he should go down in his rating a little bit. So let's see how the list unfolds a little farther, because then we'll get to really find out where he falls in the top 10 or whatnot.
Moving forward, we have Saquon Barkley. Now, he goes to an 87.
Okay.
He was a 91, so now he's an 87. So that even makes him leapfrog and jump ahead of some of these other guys now that were ahead of him in the list.
Yeah, so now what is he, third?
Brings him up there. Yeah, roughly around there. I think it is third, something around there.
Yeah, because Zeke is 89. Then McCaffrey's 88, and then he'll be 87. So
Yep. So he only drops down 2 ticks.
Wow.
And now let's finally go to your last guy. You're Josh Jacobs. How do they rate Josh Jacobs, which they put him at an 88, which they dogged him in the first place? Drum roll, please. No, I'm not going to give you one. It's an 85.
Oh, come on,
Joe.
What?
They give Josh Jacobs, your man Josh Jacobs,
Get
an
out.
85.
Get out.
Boom.
Erroneous.
Yeah, people are upset.
Blasphemy.
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
people are not
I'm sorry, not just for Josh Jacobs, but a lot of these ratings, when you take, everything that is involved with being a running back, each category, and you put them together, and we come up with these ratings for you guys. These are the real ratings that they should have received.
Right. It's not like what we give you. We're not rating this.
And the only pet peeve that I have is some of these ratings I feel should be even higher than this. So like Christian McCaffrey's I feel should be higher a little bit, like in the lower 90s to mid 90s, something like that. And then, everything else follow in between. Like Ezekiel Elliott should be higher. He should be in the 90s. Josh Jacobs, I feel, should be closer to 90, but maybe not there yet. Maybe at 87, 88, something like that. Barkley is, I'm sorry, he's an amazing player. He should be up higher in the 90s as well. A lot of these guys. And then when you look at, like, the ties, so you got the 86s. You got Aaron Jones. You got Joe Mixon. You got Alvin Kamara. And is there another 86? Nick Chubb? Is Nick Chubb 86 or no?
It's Nick Chubb, yep.
Yep, Nick Chubb's 80. So you got 4 guys. Now, how I would break that tie is you look at guys like Joe Mixon. Like Joe Mixon, he plays on a bad team and was still able to put up numbers. So, to me, he would jump those guys. So, he would end up being in front of them. Aaron Jones, I feel, should be Actually, no. Nick Chubb, then Aaron Jones, then whatever I'm talking about.
Right, Alvin Kamara?
Kamara had a down year. But yeah, okay, so those are the ratings. That's what we came up with by using EA Sports Madden rankings.
Yep.
We did use their data.
The data that they use.
But
Let's take a look at it one more time.
Right, but we only use the categories that fit the position.
Absolutely. With a running back, what they do, even catching a little bit, that's pass block, that's
Jim,
even juke moves, spin moves.
Why?
Everything.
Jim, why do they do this? Why do they put like rankings that don't matter to the position and still have them?
I don't know, but even some of these being so low. All right, so what that does now is that resets like a whole new top 10.
Right.
Some of these guys bounce out of the top 10.
All right,
so right now I have compiled the new Madden 21 top 10 running backs. Here, let's give me a drum roll here. And it is Zeke Elliott here at number 1.
Yep.
Christian McCaffrey with an 88. Saquon Barkley, 87. Derrick Henry, an 85.
Derrick Henry's still up there.
87, right? Yeah, 87. Le'Veon Bell jumps in to the top 10. Le'Veon Bell jumps into the top 10, Joe. Right there with an 87. Just look at the stats that he had. They gave him some love on everything that he does, which he still does well. But, I mean, I know a lot of people seeing what they had down here. People are saying, what?
They gave him way too much love.
But, again, still a shifty running back that you see the moves that he can do. Still a receiving back, can get it done. They give him some love. He's right there in the top 5 now with an 87.
Let's be honest, though. Like, this is a year-to-year thing, so they reevaluate everybody year-to-year. Bell didn't have a great season.
Right.
He had a down year. So why is he even in the top 10?
Looking at overall talent, I guess, when they grade these guys. That's the thing about it. As now Joe Mixon now here with an 86 here in 6th. Alvin Kamara at 86 at 7th. Nick Chubb, like you said, the tie, the way you would do the tie is how you sorted it out. But I did it by, again, these ended up being tenths of a point, and so I routed them up. So it's Alvin Kamara, Chubb 8. Kareem Hunt, who is just in 11th in the original rankings, now bombards himself into the top 10 at 9th at 86.
Wait, let me get this straight. So you got Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt both there?
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
They both play on the same team.
They both play on the same team.
They rotate.
Yeah.
Nick Chubb's a starter. Kareem Hunt should not be there. I'm
right.
sorry.
And then Mark Ingram sneakily jumps in here and cracks the top 10.
Now,
so that means significant guys. Your guy, Josh Jacobs, is gone. Aaron Jones is gone. And Dalvin Cook now out of there.
I will say Mark Ingram had a pretty good year. So
he did. He looked really good over there in Baltimore.
Yeah.
But again, some other bigger names too, I think, that have been played pretty well. I know that when I was looking at some of them, Raheem Mostert was one of the guys that was close up there. You're looking at Todd Gurley. I thought maybe possibly might sneak in a little bit and stuff like that. He was close, but didn't make the cut.
Yeah, he didn't have a good year.
Some surprise parts too is Philip Lindsay almost was cracking close to that too.
Good player.
But the guys that got missed off the list, significant names, and the numbers show you here of what they actually rate these guys drop significantly from what the overall is. I mean, their star goes from a 99 to an 88 right there.
Yep.
So Madden still getting it wrong.
We're
taking your numbers just to prove you wrong. That's what I love about it, was we can take your own information and make you just, look downright, stupid. So I mean, that's the way we do it here for you guys. So I mean, we'll continue to do that too. I think maybe next season or next week we will do wide receivers or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's good. We'll do that. All right, so that's it. That's our show for us this week. I really appreciate everybody joining us tonight. Swervo Gaming, Raider Bear, Cody Cook is in the house too as well. Everyone else that I might have missed, Kid Rasco from YouTube also throwing the stars. We appreciate it.
For sure.
If you haven't yet, go to YouTube, search Football on the No Show, hit the subscribe button, and then also hit the notification bell to let you know whenever we go live or we post videos, things like that. Join our Facebook group. We're on Facebook. A lot of people watch us here through our Facebook group at Football on the No Show. Join now. Go ahead and become a know-it-all. You'll get the latest and greatest updates, other articles and videos that a lot of people don't see so much that we can talk about. And we're very friendly in this group. That's
Are
one
we?
thing that people say in
I
this
don't know
group,
if we're friendly.
that people don't, trash talk and stuff like that. We are just about
Maybe
spreading
a
the
little.
knowledge, having great intellectual conversations, and that's it. Just agree to disagree or whatever. And also on Twitter, we also tweet from now and then and stuff like that, and also try and follow the latest headlines too and share them out to you as well.
That's a mouthful.
You can also hit us there on FB_no on Twitter. So
We got
that's
to
it.
shorten that up next time.
Yeah. All right. So that's it. Thank you so much for joining us. That's all I wanted to do. Thank you, Down Monday, for who does our intro music.
Yes, sir.
And Stephen Murray, our
Murray.
voiceover guy. It's always a pleasure. We got to have him on the show probably pretty soon.
That's the guy that you hear his voice in the intro and outro. He's an amazing dude, and we got to have him on because he does impressions.
He does, too. He's very funny. So that's it for us. Everybody, take care of yourself. Take care of each other.
Safe.
Stay safe. And we'll
Wear
see you
your
guys.
face mask.
See you guys next week.